She was one of the most loved characters on Heartland, yet when season 16 arrived, Alisha Newton's character Georgie was nowhere to be seen. Fans were left shocked, asking the same question again and again. Why would she step away now when her story felt far from finished? Alisha Newton first joined Heartland when she was just a young teenager, stepping into the role of Georgie Fleming-Morris in season 6. Her character was not an easy one, and that was exactly why fans connected with her so deeply. Georgie was a foster child, carrying pain and questions about belonging. She was guarded, strong-willed, and at times rebellious. Yet beneath that tough exterior was a girl who wanted nothing more than a place to call home from. The very first episodes, viewers saw something special. Georgie had a natural bond with horses, and it became a key part of her journey. Through patience and struggle, she slowly began to trust the people around her, Amy, Lou, and the rest of the Fleming family. Each season built on her growth, showing her struggles and her victories, until she became one of the beating hearts of the show for many fans. Georgie represented something powerful. She was a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even a broken past does not define who you are. As her writing skills grew and her Olympic dreams took shape, audiences felt like they were watching a real girl fight for her place in the world. Alisha's performance brought raw emotion to every scene. She cried with conviction, she laughed with freedom, and she carried herself like someone who had truly lived Georgie's life. That authenticity made her unforgettable for the years. Georgie's relationships also made her story richer. Her bond with Amy gave fans countless heartfelt moments. Her trust in Lou and Peter gave her stability, and her adventures with horses added energy and hope to the series. By the time season 15 ended, Georgie's character had matured into a young woman with dreams bigger than Hudson. Fans felt certain that her path was leading somewhere extraordinary. Is why season 16 brought such a jolt. For nearly a decade, Alisha Newton had been part of the Heartland family, both on screen and off. Her presence had become woven into the fabric of the show. So when the trailers and episode summaries came out without her name, the questions began. Where is Georgie? Why isn't she here? Has she left for good? The absence of Alisha was not just a missing face. It was a missing heartbeat. For fans who had followed her since childhood, her journey was personal. Losing Georgie felt like losing a member of their own family. The moment season 16 began, fans sat down with excitement. They expected to see the familiar faces, the family moments, the horses racing across the ranch, and of course Georgie, riding with fire in her eyes. But as the episodes rolled one after another, there was silence where her character should have been. No mention of her return, no scene to show where she had gone, not even a quiet reference. That silence grew louder than words. Viewers who had followed Georgie's story for years now felt a strange emptiness. It was not just that a character was missing. It was that her story had been left hanging in midair. She was supposed to be chasing Olympic dreams, supposed to be on the edge of something great. Yet suddenly, she was gone. Social media became a storm of questions. Posts appeared with the same desperate tone. Where is Georgie? Why is Alisha not in season 16? Will she ever come back? Fan pages filled with theories, some saying it was a creative decision, others whispering it was personal. The mystery grew, and with each passing episode, frustration turned into heartbreak. Heartland has always been more than a show. It is a world that feels real. Families sit together to watch it. Young writers look to it for inspiration, and longtime fans find comfort in its stories of love and healing. Removing Georgie without an answer felt like pulling a thread out of that fabric. The gap was visible, and it left everyone unsettled. Her absence also changed the tone of the season. The Fleming family still faced challenges, and Amy continued her journey, but something was missing. That fiery spirit, that sense of a young woman fighting for her dreams, was no longer there. For many viewers, it was like watching a familiar home with one door permanently closed. What made it even harder was the lack of clarity. No official explanation at first. No hint of whether this was temporary or final. The mystery kept fans hooked, but it also left them aching for answers. And in television, few things hurt as much as losing a character without saying goodbye. The questions kept rising. And at last, Alisha herself gave the answers. In interviews and public talks, she opened her heart and spoke honestly about her decision. Her words carried weight because they came not from a press release, but from a young actress who had grown up on the set and now stood at a turning point in her life. Alisha explained that being on Heartland since childhood was both a gift and a challenge. The role of Georgie had shaped her teenage years. It had given her a family on screen and millions of fans around the world. But she also revealed something else, the need to explore who she was beyond Georgie. Staying in a single role for so many years had been rewarding, yet it also kept her tied to one story when she was ready to discover many others. She talked about wanting to take risks, to play new characters, to step into projects that would test her talent in fresh ways. Every actor reaches a moment where they must choose between comfort and growth. Alisha chose growth. She was clear that it was not because of a problem with the show, not because of a broken bond with the cast or crew, but because she felt the time had come to chase new opportunities. Her honesty gave comfort to many fans, even if it did not erase the sadness. They could hear her maturity in the way she explained her journey. She was grateful for every year spent at Heartland, and she reminded everyone that Georgie would always be part of her. Yet she also asked for understanding, that she was no longer the child who first rode into the ranch. She was now a young woman ready to write her own path. Hearing her words shifted the conversation. The mystery of her absence was no longer just a rumor. It was a personal choice, a choice rooted in growth, in self-discovery, and in the courage to step away from something loved in order to find something new. When Alisha Newton shared her truth, fans listened with respect. Yet the emotions did not end there. The news spread quickly, and every corner of the Heartland community lit up with reactions. Some fans wrote messages of support, saying they understood her decision and admired her courage. Others confessed they felt heartbroken, unable to imagine Heartland without Georgie's fearless energy. Online forums filled with conversations that lasted for weeks. One group believed her departure was only temporary, pointing to her words of gratitude as a hint that she might return someday. Another group feared this was the end of Georgie's story, a quiet exit without closure. Across social media, petitions appeared, asking the producers to bring her back. Viewers posted montages of her best scenes, each one layered with comments like "Bring Georgie home," and "The show is not the same without her." Speculation also turned toward the future of the story. Without Georgie, how would the writers fill the gap? Would another character step up to carry her dreams of competition riding? Or would the show simply move on, leaving her story unfinished? These questions kept the fan base buzzing, keeping Georgie's name alive even when her face was absent from the screen. The reactions revealed just how deeply Alisha had connected with the audience. She was not just another character passing through a long-running series. She had grown with the viewers, and they had grown with her. That bond cannot be easily replaced. Fans were not only missing Georgie, they were feeling the loss of watching a young woman they had invested years of emotion into. And so, while Alisha stepped forward into new chapters of her career, her fans were left with a mix of pride and longing. Pride in the way she carried herself, and longing for the day she might ride back into Heartland, if even for one final farewell. Even with her absence in season 16, Georgie's legacy was impossible to ignore. Her character had already left a mark so strong that every scene without her carried a shadow of memory. Fans remembered the stubborn girl who walked into the Heartland ranch with walls built around her heart. They remembered how those walls slowly broke down, revealing courage, love, and an unshakable bond with horses. Georgie stood as more than a supporting role. She carried themes that spoke directly to the heart of Heartland itself: family, second chances, and the pursuit of dreams against all odds. She reminded viewers that no matter where you come from, you can still find a home, you can still belong, and you can still rise higher than anyone expected. That message lived on even when she was not on the screen. Her Olympic dream, left hanging, became a symbol in itself. It represented the idea that life's journey is not always completed in the way we imagine. Sometimes a story pauses, sometimes it shifts direction, but the inspiration remains. Young writers watching Heartland still saw Georgie as proof that passion and hard work could carry you toward greatness. Parents saw in her a reflection of resilience that they wanted their children to learn from. Within the show, characters continued to grow, but Georgie's influence was still felt. The Fleming family carried her presence in small ways, in memories, in the spirit of determination that Heartland is built on. For many fans, it was as if Georgie had become part of the land itself, unseen but always there, like the wind across the fields or the sound of hooves on the ranch. Her story may have stepped aside for now, but the connection she created could not be erased. That is the power of a character who grows with the audience. She was not just written into the script, she was written into the lives of the viewers who watched her change from a foster girl into a champion, and whether she returns or not, that legacy will always remain as one of the brightest parts of Heartland. Even though Alisha Newton chose to step away, the door of possibility is never fully closed in a world like Heartland. Television history is filled with moments where beloved characters return when the time is right, and fans have held on to that hope for Georgie. Her story was never given a final goodbye, which means it is still open, waiting for a chapter that could be written at any moment. Every season since her absence, discussions rise again. Could she make a surprise appearance? Could she ride back into the ranch older, stronger, ready to continue her Olympic dream? The very fact that the show has left her path unfinished keeps the flame alive. Writers often know the value of leaving space for a character, and in Georgie's case, that space is large enough to invite her return. Fans continue to remind the producers and cast that the love for Georgie has not faded. Comment sections on Heartland updates often carry the same message: bring her back, even if only for one scene, even if only to close her journey with dignity. That collective voice has power because the relationship between a show and its audience has always been a dialogue. When fans speak loud enough, sometimes stories bend to listen. At the same time, her absence has forced the series to grow in new directions. Amy has taken on greater challenges, Lou has faced her own battles, and the family dynamic has shifted. Yet even in these changes, Georgie's memory is present. Her energy lingers. Her influence still felt in the way characters fight for their dreams. The show adapts, but it does not erase. This balance between moving forward and remembering the past has kept Heartland alive for so many years. And for Georgie, it creates a unique kind of hope. She may not appear today or tomorrow, but the possibility of her return is always there, waiting in the hearts of the audience. That possibility is what makes her absence powerful and her legacy unbroken. Alisha Newton's choice to step away from Heartland left a space that could never be fully filled. Yet in that space, something powerful was created. It reminded fans how deeply a single character can matter, how stories can shape lives, and how the bond between an actor and an audience can feel like family. Georgie's journey began as the tale of a lost foster child, and it grew into the story of a fearless young woman chasing dreams that reached beyond the ranch. Her courage inspired viewers who had struggles of their own. Her determination gave hope to those who needed it most. Even though she stepped off the screen, those lessons remain alive in every person who watched her grow. Alisha's decision also carried an important message. Sometimes stepping away is not about leaving something behind, but about finding the strength to reach for something new. She chose growth, she chose discovery, and in doing so, she showed the same courage her character once did. Fans may miss Georgie in Heartland, but they can still cheer for Alisha as she rides forward in her own career. The future of Heartland will continue, with new stories, new challenges, and new dreams. Yet Georgie's legacy is carved into its heart, and as long as fans remember her, as long as they hope for her return, her story is not over. It waits quietly, ready for the moment when the ranch gates might open once again, and a familiar rider could appear on the horizon. Because in Heartland, family never truly leaves. They remain part of the land, part of the memory, and part of the love that keeps the story alive.